Thank you for joining us for our final 2020 episode of Fulton First. It has been a pleasure to bring these to you every single month, and we're hoping you enjoy them as well. I want to start off this month by talking about COVID and the importance of following all that is important to make sure that our community stays safe. I cannot stress enough how important it is that we wear a mask, that we social distance, that we wash our hands, and that we keep our gatherings to a minimum. We can see that the counties around us, our neighboring counties, are in a state of emergency in some cases. We see that they are in code orange or on the verge of moving into the red zone. I don't want to see that happen to us here in the county. And as the one of two cities in the county, Fulton has a responsibility to make sure that we are doing our part to keep Fulton safe, first and foremost, and to keep our county out of any zone. So I encourage you, I stress how important it is to make sure that we're following all the guidelines so that our businesses can stay open, so that we can continue to roam our city and enjoy all that we have to offer, and so that we don't have restrictions put on us from those in Albany. We need to do our part so that we can control the outcome of what happens here in Fulton. So thank you all for all your continued efforts. Thank you for continuing to place the importance of your health and the health of others around you. And thank you for putting Fulton first. I also want to talk about the police reform and reinvention. This is an initiative that the governor has rolled out and is requiring all municipalities who have a policing agency to gather a team of individuals to talk about what practices and policies we have in place here in Fulton, what we're doing right, what we could be doing better. I have selected the individuals for our team. It's a very diverse team from all sectors of the community. We are just starting to gather that team together. We have already put out a survey on the Facebook page of the Fulton Police Department and has been shared on other pages. We're now bringing the team together, and our goal, our primary goal, is to make sure that the policing efforts in the city of Fulton are ones that are safe, productive, and ones that we can all get behind and support. So as this team meets, we're going to talk about all the things that we're doing right. How do we continue to do those? For instance, our community policing efforts when we're out in the community. Does it make sense for us to continue to walk the streets and say hi to our neighbors? Does it make sense for us to consider going down to the farmer's market and having officers walk through the farmer's market? Does it make sense for us to have the police showing up at events and just checking things out and making sure that everything's going okay? Sure it does. All those things make sense. So let's make sure we're doing it right, and let's find ways that we might be able to do that even better. We're going to continue to work on this initiative. We do have a deadline of April. If we don't put this in place and adopt through the vote of the council, adopt this new directive, this new initiative, we can have state aid held back from us. As we know, in 2020, we've already had $500,000 in state aid held back from us, and it's having impact. There's no doubt that the city of Fulton is feeling the impact of the state holding back our aid. So we want to do this right. We want to do it in a timely manner, and we want to meet all of our deadlines, and we're going to do that. I have no doubt. We have our police chief and deputy chief and Special Police Officer Lund at the helm running the show, and they're doing a great job. So I think, we're going to be very successful with this process, but it's important that we stay focused on it and that we meet our deadlines, so that we can first and foremost make sure that we have a safe community that is policed with the highest level of integrity and the best policies and practices in place, but also so that we meet our deadlines and we don't see yet again another hit of our state aid. That's just not acceptable and will not be acceptable to me. So thank you all for your support. For those who are involved, we appreciate you volunteering your time and efforts and your feedback to make sure that we are moving forward in the right way. Moving on to the budget, I think it's very important that the community stays involved in the entire process so that we all know how this works. We have a deadline to meet to make sure that we can get a public hearing in before the end of the year, before the budget is adopted. So we rolled out a preliminary draft budget. After months and many hours of working on that budget, we rolled out our first draft, knowing that the first draft was just that. It wasn't finalized, but we needed to put that out there for the public to have that information before the public hearing. In that time, since we rolled it out, we continued to work on various aspects of the budget. And in fact, I went back to all the department heads and said, okay, back to the drawing board. Let's figure out what we can do to reduce our costs, reduce our expenses, increase our revenue, whatever it is that we can do to adjust those budgets. Let's go back to the drawing board and look at it one more time. And I believe that I have found more opportunities within that 2021 proposed budget where we're going to be able to reduce that tax rate even more. So we are going to continue to work on that. And on Tuesday, December 15th is when we're having our next public hearing, and we will also be voting on the budget for 2021. And you can expect to see further improvements to that budget. And it's important to me. The last thing I wanted to do was to roll out a tax increase. It's frustrating to me what I've uncovered over this last year. It's frustrating to me that department heads were not actively involved in their budgets the way they should have been. It's frustrating to me all of the waste, all of the careless management of our finances, and going forward, that is absolutely not acceptable. And the department heads know that, and I will hold them accountable, as I'll hold myself accountable, to make sure that we're doing this process right, to make sure that it's transparent, and to make sure that we're looking at all ways to do business better. We need to be creative. We need to find ways to do business differently than we've done in the past, and we're going to do just that. So be on the lookout to see what those changes will be on the 2021 budget, and I'm confident that we're going to see further reductions in that tax rate. In addition, a couple months ago, I rolled out information about a citywide revaluation, and we started to look at the process of going through and revaluing, as they call it, or reassessing the city properties, both commercial and residential. In 2019, that process had begun. We hired a city appraiser, and the appraiser was working on behalf of the city and was going to start this reval. I brought together a team of individuals, from attorneys to real estate agents to community homeowners to businesses, the chamber, and Fulton block builders. And I wanted to bring them together to be a part of the process, to weigh in and to give feedback on the process, and for us to go back and then reevaluate and say, okay, what does this mean going forward for the city of Fulton? Based on the first few meetings that we had, it was determined, and it was very clear to me, that we should not be moving forward with this reval taking place in 2021. We've already invested the money into hiring the appraiser in 2019. I don't want to waste those dollars, and I understand that that investment was made. We're going to stretch this process out. We're going to do it right by taking the full year of 2021 so that we're not rushing the process, so that we're taking into consideration what we expect to happen in 2021 with some of these new businesses that are going to be back on the tax roll, whether it be O'Reilly's or the new laundromat or the new urgent care that's coming to town. Once we have some growth and opportunities that are going to happen in 2021. Not to mention we had COVID, and COVID has had a significant impact on us all. And so taking all of that into consideration and listening to the feedback from the team that I pulled together, it was clear to me that while we still will move forward with this reval, that we'll take our time to do it and that it will go into effect in 2022. So again, we're looking at the budget, we're going to make further improvements, and you'll see further reductions in that tax rate. And we are stretching out that reval to not take effect until 2022. I listened to what everyone had to say. I heard the voice of the community. I appreciate you weighing in and sharing your candid thoughts. And as a result, those are the changes we were able to make. I also want to talk about the changes at the Community Development Agency. Again, the Community Development Agency is a separate agency within the city. It is not a branch of the City of Fulton government, but it is an agency within the city that works on behalf of the city to bring opportunities in both housing and economic development. The board is comprised of myself as the chairwoman, is also the chief executive officer, and the common council makes up the rest of the board. 2020 has been a challenging year on many levels. The Community Development Agency, I knew from day one when I started in January that we needed to focus on that agency and bringing change. We needed to see more output, more successes, more networking and engagement, better communication, better policies and procedures. We knew that from the onset that we needed to work with the Community Development Agency to move it forward. It was important because one of the projects that are coming out of that will be managed is the Downtown Revitalization Initiative. So as we started off the year, we looked at opportunities, and it was clear to me that there was certainly opportunities there. In mid-2020, we had a transition with the executive director, and we took our time to find the next director. And I am proud to introduce Brad Broadwell, a native of the city of Fulton, as the new executive director for the Community Development Agency. Brad is a wealth of knowledge and experience. He brings to the table over 30 years of economic development across the country and internationally. He is, again, a native of the city of Fulton. He was born and raised here, went to school here. He has a passion for the city of Fulton. While he moved away and worked in other states in their economic development agencies, he's come back and he wants to take all his experience and knowledge and bring it to the city of Fulton. And we could not be more excited. This is a great opportunity for the city of Fulton. This is exactly what we need at the right time when we are on the cusp of some great opportunities with our downtown revitalization, with some of the new businesses that I mentioned are coming to town, with the LWRP. There's a lot of great initiatives that are happening in town, and we need someone with the expertise and strength that Brad brings to the table to help us to build relationships, to help us to rebuild relationships, to help introduce new opportunities to the city that we haven't been introduced, to help collaborate and work with our small business community to make sure they have an advocate and someone working for them and on behalf of their best interests. And as far as housing goes, to make sure that our housing program thrives and that we are continuing to build on the Section 8 HUD program, but also other housing opportunities like housing rehab and first-time home buyers. We want to make sure that that agency thrives. And with Brad at the helm, I'm confident that we will continue with all the effort that we did in 2020, bringing new policies and procedures, bringing new energy and effort, bringing new ideas, and trying to just move the agency forward. Every single one who works at that agency deserves that, and we will continue to work towards a better community development agency for everyone in this community to benefit from. So again, I'm so excited to introduce Brad Broadwell, and you will see him out in the community. You will see him visiting businesses. You will see him in the neighborhoods, because that's just what he brings to the table. He is an all-in, ready to move Fulton forward individual, and I'm really excited for the city of Fulton. Finally, I just want to wish everyone a very happy holidays. I know that 2020 has been different, but what a great opportunity for us to take a look at the holidays, reflect on 2020, and create new traditions and find ways to incorporate our old traditions in new ways. I thank everyone for being so supportive in 2020. I have absolutely enjoyed my first year with all of the ups and downs. I wouldn't change a thing. I'm excited to continue to move into 2021 with new initiatives, new ideas, and a lot of hard work on behalf of each and every one of you. Have a wonderful holiday season. Thank you so much for all that you've done in 2020. Continue to be healthy, continue to be safe, and we will see you in the new year. Thank you.